Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture series of SSC Quantitative Aptitude, and in this lecture we are going to discuss area and perimeter of basic geometric figures. In this lecture you will study about quadrilaterals like a rectangle, square, parallelogram, rhombus and trapezium. So these are the 5 types of quadrilaterals we are mainly going to discuss in this lecture. So first of all we have rectangle. So what a rectangle looks like? So rectangle have 4 sides and these are joined like this. You can see in the figure and and it has 4 sides of some length. And let's now discuss some properties of a rectangle. So a rectangle is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. Why right angles? I mean that all 4 angles in the rectangle are 90 degree. So if this is a rectangle, so this angle is a 90 degree. This angle is 90 degree. This angle is a 90 degree and this angle is a 90 degree. So a rectangle is a quadrilateral with 4 sides and all of its angle are 90 degree. Opposite sides are always equal in length and this property ensures that the shape has a symmetry along its diagonal. So suppose this is your rectangle A, B, C and D, and I'm saying that these opposite lengths are equal. So this length and this length is same and this length and this length is same. So the diagonal of a rectangle are equal and bisect each other at their point of intersection. So this is the diagonal and this is the diagonal and these two diagonals are of equal length and they both intersect at a point. This is that point and this point of intersection is the midpoint of each diagonal. So adjacent angles in the rectangle are supplementary, meaning their measure add up to 180 degree. So that means if I add this angle and this angle, the sum of these two angles is going to be 90 degree. The opposite angles of a rectangle are equal to each other. Let us now talk about the area of a rectangle. So we denote the area of a rectangle with the help of A, and this is the side of length L, and this is the side of width W, and I call it by W and L. And we represent this length with D. This is diagonal D. So the area of rectangle is the product of length and its width. So mathematically, area will be given by length into width, that is L into W. So that means whenever a rectangle is given to you and if its sides are known, 2 sides that are known parallel obviously. So if length and width are known to you, then you can easily calculate the area of a rectangle. So how do you find the perimeter of a rectangle? To find the perimeter of a rectangle, we need length and width and it is given by 2 times of length plus width. So whenever a rectangle is given to you and its length and width are known, you can just add them up and take twice. So this is the formula to find perimeter of a rectangle. Rectangle, diagonal of a rectangle. So if this is your rectangle and let me draw the diagonal for you. So this is your diagonal and if I want to find the length of this diagonal, then we take the root of length square plus width square. So if this is length L and this is width W, then if I take L square plus W square and put this thing in this under root, then this length X is equal to this thing. Okay, so let us now talk about square. So a square is a four-sided polygon or quadrilateral where all four sides have the same length. So a square is a quadrilateral and it has four sides: AB, AB, BC, CD, and DA. And one more interesting thing here to note is these all four sides are same. In rectangle, opposite sides were same, but in square, all the four sides are same. And similar to rectangle, all four angles are at right angle, that is 90 degree. So if I talk about this angle, this is 90, this is 90, this is 90, this is 90. This side is same as this is same as this is same as this, and this is same as this. So opposite sides are parallel, obviously. So opposite sides are parallel. It's very clear to see that the diagonals are congruent, meaning they have the same length. So this, if this is your square, so this diagonals are of same length. That is what is happening in the square. And diagonal bisect the angles. That means we have already discussed the bisect means if this is the diagonal and this is 90 degree always, so this will be 45 and this is 45. So a diagonal bisects the angle into two equal parts, and that is 45 and 45. So diagonals are perpendicular to each other, meaning they meet at the right angle. So if this angle is right angle, I am talking about this angle. So if there are two diagonals, then they meet at some point, and at that point they make an angle of 90 degree. So let us now talk about how to find the area of a square. Suppose a square ABCD is given to us and its length is S. So the area of the square will be given by A equal to S square, where S is the length of one side of a square. And perimeter of a square, the total distance around the square's boundary. So what is the perimeter? The total distance around the square boundary. So this is A, this is A, this is A, this is A. So if I'm standing here and go this side, how much distance did I cover? A centimeter. If I travel along this line, again I cover a centimeter. If I go from this to this, again I cover a centimeter. And if I reach back here, again I cover a centimeter. So how much distance did I cover? So total distance covered by me is a plus a plus a plus a. That is a four times. So the formula for the perimeter of a square is 4s, where s is the length of one side of the square. Diagonal of a square. The distance between two opposite corners of a square is given by d equal to s under root 2. So if this is your square, it more look like rectangle, but let us consider it square. So this diagonal, this length of this diagonal, if one of the side is known to me, all other side will be same. So if this is s, then the length this length is given by s under root 2. Length of sides. The length of any one side of a square. If the area is known to you and you are interested in finding the length of a side, so it will be given by s equal to under root a. This is not a different formula. It is same what we use to find the area. The same formula is used here. We have just taken the square root both side and changed a little bit so that we obtain the value of s. So let us now talk about parallelogram. So parallelogram quite is quite similar to rectangle, but there are some differences. In similar to rectangle, in parallelogram, opposite sides are equal in length. Opposite angles are equal. Properties: the consecutive angles in a parallelogram are supplementary, meaning the sum of any two consecutive angle is always 180 degree. The angle of a parallelogram bisect each other. I think I don't have to repeat the bisect meaning. Bisect means divides the angle into two equal parts. Diagonal do not necessarily have equal length. Opposite sides are opposite sides and angle are parallel. So what makes a parallelogram different from a rectangle, since all the properties are very much similar? What is difference here? So the difference is created by the diagonals. The length of these diagonals are not same in this case, but in rectangle the length of diagonal was same. So that is the major differentiation between the rectangle and the parallelogram. So let us now see few more properties on parallelogram. So sum of the interior angle of any quadrilateral including parallelogram is 360 degree. So if this is your parallelogram and this is some angle 1, this is some angle 2, this is some angle 3, and this is some angle 4, then so the sum of angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 is equal to 360 degree. That's what the statement number 1 says. The opposite angle in the parallelogram are supplementary, meaning the sum of two opposite angle is 180 degrees. So it's very much clear from the statement itself, so there is no need to discuss it more. So let us now talk about the area of parallelogram. So suppose the base is known to you, the height is known to you, then you can find the area of parallelogram just by multiplying base and height, and it will be area for you. Perimeter of parallelogram, same thing again. If I am standing here, okay, and this is side of length B, this is side of length A, this is side of length B, and this is side of length A. And if I'm standing at point D and I march to point C, how much distance did I cover? B. And if I'm standing at C now, then I move towards B, I covered B plus A distance. And from B, I go towards A, how much distance did I cover? B plus A plus B, and from A to D I reach D again. So distance covered by me was A. So in this complete loop, completing this round, how much distance did I cover? So I covered B plus A plus B plus A. That is nothing but 2 times of A plus B. So perimeter of our parallelogram is 2 times of A plus B. So what is the diagonal length? So it is P square plus Q square equal to 2 times A square plus B square. So this is your length P, this is your length, this is your length Q, this is your length P, and to know the diagonal lengths, P square plus Q square equal to 2 times A square plus B square. So that was all about parallelogram. Let us now move ahead and talk about a rhombus. Properties of rhombus. Properties of rhombus are very much alike square only, but there are some differentiation. So all four sides are of equal length. That is very much similar to square. Opposite angles are equal. The consecutive angles, angles that share a common side in a rhombus are supplementary, meaning the sum of any two consecutive angles is always 180 degree. So if this is your rhombus, so if you take sum of this angle and this is angle, so it is going to be 180 degree. The diagonal of rhombus bisect each other at right angle. This means that the point where diagonal intersect divides each diagonal into two equal parts, and the angle formed at the point of its intersection is a right angle triangle. So right angle. And diagonal are not necessarily equal in length. So this thing may differentiate area square from rhombus, that the length of diagonals are not same. This diagonal, length of this diagonal and this diagonal is not same. All right. So let us go ahead and talk some more things about rhombus. So area of a rhombus is given by half into d1 into d2, where d1 and d2 are length of diagonals of the rhombus. So to find the area of rhombus, we use here the length of diagonals. So this is diagonal of length d1, this is diagonal of length d2, and if you multiply them and divide it by 2, you will obtain the area of rhombus. And in terms of s and the theta, if s is the length of the rhombus and theta is the acute angle of the rhombus, then a is equal to s square times of sine theta, and the perimeter of rhombus is 4s. And the same thing happens here when we are trying to find the perimeter. Start from B and take the complete round BC, CD, DA and AB. And what is the total distance covered by you? It is S plus S plus S plus S. That is actually 4 times S. So last but not the least, we are going to talk about trapezium. So what are properties of trapezium? First of all, look at the figure. This is how a trapezium looks like. Okay. There is at least one pair of opposite sides that are parallel. The consecutive angles in the trapezium are supplementary, meaning the sum of any two consecutive angles in is always 180 degree. So that is very much similar to what we have studied till now. So a sum of this angle and this angle is always 180 degree. The angle formed by non-parallel sides with parallel sides are equal. Angle formed by non-parallel sides with parallel sides are equal. If side, so let me try to explain it graphically. So suppose this is a trapezium. Let's give some name to the sides, points A, B, C, D. Okay. And this is your diagonals. Okay. Now, the angle formed by the non-parallel sides. So in this case, AB is parallel to DC. So what are non-parallel sides? This and this. So it says angle A is equal to angle D and angle B is equal to angle C. This is what statement is trying to say. Diagonals are not necessarily equal. The line segment connecting the midpoint of the non-parallel sides of trapezium is called a median or mid segment. The segment is parallel to the basis and its length is the average of the length of the basis. The sum of interior angles of a quadrilateral including a trapezium is always 360 degree. So if this is your trapezium and if I take sum of all the angles, interior angles, this angle, this one, and this one, the sum of all these angles is 360 degree. And in the first statement, it says a line segment connecting the midpoint of non-parallel sides. So this is these are two parallel sides, and this one is the non-parallel side in the green color. So the line segment connecting this, let us connect using this line. So it is called the median or a mid segment, and this segment is parallel to the basis. So this segment is parallel to this line. Okay. So let us now talk about area of a trapezium. So let this be a trapezium, ABCD be its length, its vertices, and O be the point of intersection of diagonals. So area of this trapezium is given by half into AB plus CD times H. So if we add the length of these sides and multiply it with the height, then this formula is what provides us with the area of trapezium. And perimeter of trapezium can be calculated by just taking the sum of all of these sides, AB plus BC plus CD plus DA. So, and this is the formula to find the perimeter of trapezium. So that was all for this lecture, and in the next lecture we will see some problems based on this lecture. In this lecture, we studied about area of square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium. So we are going to see problems based on these figures in the next lecture. So till then, try to learn all the formulas, understand them, and in the next lecture, we will see problems. Thank you very much.